Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you about the digestive system, and we're going to answer this question. What happens to the foods we eat? Here's a diagram of the digestive system. Starting out with the oral cavity, food enters, goes down through the esophagus, into the stomach, from the stomach into the small intestine, from the small intestine into the large intestine or colon, the rectum, and it's expelled from there. The key components of the digestive system are there to break down foods into nutrients so we can absorb them, and to prepare those foods for absorption into the bloodstream or into the lymphatic system. Let's start with the mouth. Digestion begins in the mouth. Saliva blends the foods that we eat into liquids to enable ease of swallowing. Chewing breaks up food. It's important to chew foods well to help the process of absorption. And your saliva adds enzymes to your food, enzymes like amylase. Now there are diseases of the mouth. One of the more common diseases of the mouth is called Sjögren's syndrome. This is an autoimmune disease where your immune system destroys the salivary glands, and it's a very uncomfortable condition. Moving on, let's talk about the esophagus and the stomach. Here I have a picture of the esophagus and the sphincter at the top of the stomach, and then a sphincter here at the bottom of the stomach. This is the stomach cavity. The bolus of food that you eat and has been chewed in the mouth and with saliva moves through the esophagus into the stomach. In the stomach, acid is added. The stomach has a pH of somewhere between 1.5 and 3.5. That's very acidic, not dissimilar from battery acid. Foods, when they enter the stomach, are mixed and squeezed and into material called chyme, which is a semi-liquid mass. And then it exits the stomach through the pyloric sphincter here and into the small intestine. The reason why the acid in your stomach doesn't destroy the stomach is because there's a layer of mucus that's protecting the stomach from destruction by acidic conditions. There are diseases of the stomach. I've shown two of them here. One is peptic ulcer. Peptic ulcers have the symptoms of nausea, vomiting, dark stool because of blood from entering the stool, feeling bloated, and weight loss. Peptic ulcers are where holes are eaten away through the mucous lining of your stomach and into the tissue below. They are typically associated with infections with Helicobacter pylori, which is a bacteria. Another common disease of the stomach is GERD, gastroesophageal reflux. The symptoms of GERD are heartburn or pain in the chest. Please don't confuse pain in your chest with a heart attack. If you're having a heart attack, you definitely need to go and see a doctor immediately. Don't think that that might just only be heartburn or GERD. GERD is caused by acid flowing back through the esophageal sphincter up into the esophagus and burning the esophagus because the esophagus doesn't have as much mucus protective layer as the stomach. Next, let's talk about the intestines. The small intestine here in the middle and the large intestine or colon. The small intestines are the major organ through which nutrients are absorbed. The small intestine is covered by cells, and these cells are arranged into what are called villi. These villi have large ruffles on them, and these ruffles increase the surface area, allowing a great deal of absorption of food through these ruffles, or these microvilli. This is what the surface of one single cell looks like. These tiny little projections, these microvilli on, and then these cells are arranged here into larger villi. And as a result, you have a huge surface area through which to absorb nutrients. The small intestine is also a major immune organ. That's to protect you from bacteria or fungi or other invading organisms that you're eating with your food. Let's take a look at one of these microvilli now. This is just taking a really close-up look at one microvilli. You can see that there's blood flowing through the microvilli, and there's also a lymphatic system going through each of these villi. These villi will then absorb food from the exterior out and into the blood supply, and in the case of fats, into the lymphatic system. There are three ways that nutrients are absorbed: simple diffusion for very small nutrients, facilitated diffusion, where nutrients are absorbed using transporters, and then active transport, where energy is expended to actively uptake nutrients and get them into your blood or lymphatic system. Okay. Now the large intestine or colon. The major function of the large intestine or colon, here running around the outside of the small intestines, is to absorb water from indigestible material and to expel this indigestible material as waste. The large intestine is also home to a large amount of your gastrointestinal microbiome. There are diseases of the intestines. One of the more frequent diseases is colorectal cancer. There are dietary factors that can increase the risk of getting colorectal cancer. These include eating red and processed meats, as well as alcohol consumption. And there are other diseases of the colon as well, including inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, and ulcerative colitis. These inflammatory immune conditions also increase the risks of colorectal cancer. Currently, the best practice to avoid colorectal cancer is screening. Colorectal screening. If you have a family history of colorectal cancer, I recommend that you get colorectal screening early. Otherwise, colorectal screening is recommended for anyone over the age of 50. Next, we're going to talk about your gastrointestinal microbiome. I look forward to talking to you then. Take care. Bye. This is the references and disclaimer page. The reference textbook that most of these videos follow is Understanding Nutrition by the authors Rolfs and Whitney. That's I use the 15th edition by Cengage Publishing. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's called Nutrition, Fast and Fun. There's lots of great videos that you'll find there. And finally, there's a medical disclaimer. You should read the medical disclaimer to make sure you fully understand your rights and responsibilities. Thank you and have a great day.